is gonna be the best day ever. This is gonna be the best.
Not expecting to learn all this thing in a very young age.
Is choose the right language.
Time management, because I'm not a hardworking guy.
I used to be like quiet girl, but not too quiet.
It's quite hard, especially if you're working with somebody that you've never worked before.
I once neglected the importance of study due to programming.
And earn some extra income, and the paying was not low.
And there has been many challenges, whether it's entering competitions or losing competitions. I think a part of the whole coding and programming, it might seem flashy, but there are chances that you will lose and you won't always entirely win.
Like I'm living in a movie, look at me. I do the cha-cha-cha.
Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of Get Inspired Today. This is a 6-episode series where we will uncover many interesting topics about coding and programming from inspiring speakers and guests from different backgrounds and ages. The objective of this series is to inspire those of you out there who are into coding or programming or even interested in it to continue pursuing your passion and interests. What better place to get inspired than a place where inspiring coders and programmers gather together to share their experience and knowledge? In today's episode, we have Thivedraan, a participant from Rising Star Agri-Food Innovation Challenge, Felicia, a student who studied cybersecurity, and Poh Hock, student from Forward School NitroDegree, who pursued applied software engineering. They will talk about how coding has changed their lives and their experiences in the coding field. We will discuss with our guests their interest in programming and coding and what have spurred such passion. Viewers can also get in depth into the challenges and advice on how you can continue your passion for programming and coding. But before we start our interview with our special guest, I would like to let everyone know that there is a lucky draw session tonight where you stand a chance to win 2 microbit quick start kit worth up to 100 ringgit. Fill in your name in the Google form provided in the description below to register yourself for the lucky draw. Announcement of the winners will be made on our Instagram account at Guru Future Skills. I'll repeat that again, at Guru Future Skills. So do follow us on Instagram to find out if you're one of the lucky winners. Before I continue with this, my name is Ariff and I'll be your host tonight. I'm a champion of Young Founders Summit 2020 and I'm starting my own company. Now let's get started and talk to our amazing guests. Let's begin with our first question to our guests by getting to know more about them and what they do. So, in a brief answer, tell us about your first and please tell us first and foremost what is it you do in the programming or coding world, and maybe share a little bit about yourself. So, maybe Thivedraan can start first.
Yeah, sure. I'm Thivedraan. I'm currently developing mobile apps like for farmers and retailers, and I also done machine learning related project in the past. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
That seems really interesting, and like that could potentially help people in the future. I think we can move to the next panelists.
Okay, Hawk, you can call me Danny. I'm currently a student studying in Ford School, and I am taking the NitroDegree in Applied Software Engineering in Ford School. Also, I'm an intern in Vitrox in Berhad. Yeah, that's a brief about me.
And finally, we can go to our final panelist, Felicia.
Yeah, so I'm Felicia Anne, so can call me as Felicia. And I'm currently doing my internship on cybersecurity part in a multinational company.
I think everyone has such cool backgrounds and what they've done so far. So let's move to the second question. When do you start to learn coding and what was the motivation behind that? Were there any incidents or events that spurred you to take on this journey? And when did you start to realize that you could have a career as a programmer? Or like Felicia joined the cybersecurity world, which is heavily in touch with the programming world. So any of you can start first for this question.
As I remember, since I was Form 2, I was being introduced to a after school program which is called the Project ACE. The program was held by two of my teachers, which is Sir Chuck and Miss Alina. And the purpose me for joining this program is actually uh, because I was keep wandering around about how technology took just about everything to the next level and change the way we live today. Before I enter the program, I was actually a very shy boy who could not speak fluent English, and I'm also an introvert person, which I did not know how to express my feelings to other people. After joining the program, Project ACE, I learned to communicate with other people through the competition and presentation. Also, I had spoke more fluently from that, and my English immediately improved very much, which I had gained much confidence to express my ideas to other people. And during my secondary school, I had also participated more than 10 innovation competition, and I found out that I'm literally in love with the accomplishment that I had done and tried and use technology to help other people. So because of that, since then, I had always wanted to become a software engineering. So that's why I am in this industry field. Yeah.
I think that is
So
very commendable. I think that that's a really cool backstory. Like, um, it it shows that even from like programming is something that we can all do, and something that everyone who are not interested in programming could one day have a career in programming or take some interest in programming. So, does any other member of the panel would like to put their input into this question?
actually, I was same batch with Poh Hock, and I first joined in an after-school program which is called ARUS. So my teacher invited me through an invitation letter that time. So at first, I don't even know what is coding and programming at that time, since I don't have any basic knowledge on that. And I've started to learn coding when I was 14 years old, which is when I was Form 2, and I was like really not expecting to learn all this thing in a very young age. So however, once I started to know every single thing about coding, I never got worried about it. I could able to finish the challenges given by the teachers and everything. So that that was the time I decided to further my learnings and really wanted to explore in coding and programming. So the most motivational part that spurred was the time when I get to present about the innovation projects which I have done together with my team members and all that. So normally our RS teachers will bring us to many places for presentation, competitions, exhibitions, and many more. So from there, I've got to learn one thing that is like nothing about winning or losing. As long as we gain knowledge and gain more ideas and facing all the challenges while working on a project. So that's it.
Yeah, I think what Felicia said when that I think something that can resonate with everyone is that what's important in competitions in general and especially in innovation competitions is that if you learn something, you've already gained something. You don't really have to win anything, but still, as long as you learn something, you have won that day. So I think finally we can go to Tivindran.
Sure. I started coding when I was 14. I joined Arus Academy as well. That time I was curious on how thing works, made, and wondered on how I can make it better. My parents saw my interest in this field, so they told me like, why not try robotic or coding? So specifically when I was 16 years old, I participated with my team a hackathon called Chile Grade Classifying Hackathon. We won second runner up that time, and we were the only high school student. That's the moment when I realized I had the potential and I could have a career as a programmer.
I think every one of you had like really interesting stories, and the thing that unified everyone was that everyone was from Iris Academy, and I've actually worked with Devendra before, and he's an amazing programmer. Honestly. Okay, so let's move to the next one. For our viewers that are watching who might be interested in to the programming world or wanting to start in the programming world or wanting to step foot into the programming world, what should they know about coding or programming before they start to get into it? For example, how to get started and what are the first steps that a person should take? Devendra, would you like to start first?
Sure. First thing is choose the right language, like something that's beginner friendly, such as Python. Why I say that it should be beginner friendly is that you want to love what you do. You don't want it to be uh, annoyance or stress in the end. So I would say a great start ensures you to be more motivated to learn more.
Yeah, for coding, there's so many languages and it could be really difficult. So, Felicia, maybe you can go next.
Yeah. Okay. So the first step that should take is showing interest. It's all about interest. Without showing the interest, we couldn't start up or learn coding with wholehearted. Like me, I showed up my interest when I doing the projects and innovations and all that. So if you want to do the projects to work well, we have to do the coding as well, right? So we should enjoy learning it and explore more on coding. And yes, definitely we will face some errors in programming which could make us a little stress on that. But we as a programmer shouldn't take that as a problem, must take that as a challenge.
Definitely, if you want to join into the programming world, you must have interest. That's really important. And then finally, let's move to the final panelist
Yeah,
for this
sure.
question.
So, from my opinion, I think it's about like what kind of field you want to enter in software engineering field, because there's a lot of path you can go. So if you really want to go into a coding or programming careers, you should learn about the programming fundamentals and do a lot of practice, and you can eventually become a better problem solver. Yeah.
Great. I think now the viewers will have some sort of rough idea what they have to do before going into the programming world and what they really have to look and reflect back into themselves if they really want to step into that world. Okay. Fine. For the fourth question. So all three of you have gone through different experiences with coding. You have participated in numerous competition and also pursued your education in coding and programming. So what were or what are the challenges that you have faced as a programmer or you're still facing, and how did you manage to overcome the challenges?
Uh, the challenges I faced is that time management, because I'm not a hardworking guy. And how I overcome my problem is to learn is I keep on reminding myself about what is my priority first, and keep putting more effort into it and know when I should do my job and when should I play my games. So time management in this is very important. So you can keep on practicing your coding skills. Meantime, you also play games, because people like to play games. For me, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's something that could be said with time management. I think it's something that we all have to master, regardless when coding or not, especially when we're creating some sort of project. Um, Tivindran or Felicia, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so the challenges I faced was the communication actually, the communication. So last time I used to be like quiet girl, but not too quiet. It's like a bit quiet when if it's like too much of people around me. So poor communication is the problem when I first joined actually. So if I found myself like it's like unclear about any issues or what, I used to quiet and not to ask the teachers and everything. So then I overcome from all that. Then I learn how to communicate with people. If I don't know anything, I should able to ask the teachers without any hesitation or what. So communication is the most challenging I overcome from that.
Yeah, communication is something that I can relate to. It's something that is quite hard, especially if you're working with somebody that you've never worked before. But yeah. And finally we have Tivindran.
Same as what Poh Hock said just now, time management. I once neglect the importance of study due to programming. And secondly, till this very day, I think all the coders would face it, errors, troubleshooting. Yeah, I would say experience. If you're more experienced in coding, you would know how to troubleshoot. You would go through forums, YouTube videos. Yeah, that what helped me to overcome the challenge.
Yeah. I think all three of those are very important elements. Overcoming whether with coding or any projects in general. So time management, having time management, experience, and what Felicia said just now. So the penultimate question, which is what are life lessons that we can learn from coding and how has it changed your life?
So the lesson I learned is to not give up and keep on gaining experience in coding by practicing. So how did it change my life is when I start receiving jobs offer from other company as well, and I also can earn some extra income, and the paying was not that low. It was quite high, and because of that, I just know that, oh, software engineering field is really something, and it's really life changing. Besides learning coding, I think there's no downside except it will give you some headache and bolt. Yeah, I think that's it.
As for me, I would say critical thinking and problem solving skill. As I progress in coding over the years, I would say I have improved my critical thinking skill. And I also learned that there's like never an absolute way to solve a problem or to do something. You can take a different approach from others to solve it. That's that's all for me.
Yeah. So for me, it was like never stop learning. So as like what Devendran said was like um, our thinking has been changed actually. The coding has changed my journey actually. So wherever we go, we used to think out of the box, like maybe thinking of innovative and all that. So always keep on thinking about something innovative and creative ideas on that. So never stop learning lah actually.
Yeah, I think based from your sharing the coding experience and going into software engineering and programming itself has really shaped you and helped you learn new skills. I think we've nearly reached the end. So before we end the show, could each of you give one advice to a computer or science student? For example, what is expected from a computer science graduate, or what would you have done differently that would have benefited you more in the past that you would like to share? So Felicia, I think you can go first.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so maybe like on advice, actually we can make ourselves or change our mindset that the programming is more exciting and more fun when we're learning on it. So no need to stress ourselves too much just on that. Whatever happens, just move on and enjoy learning it. So there's no ending for learning. Everything is knowledge and experiences only. So never stop learning because life never stop teaching. So there's always new skill to learn and strategies for you to adopt. So learn and generate new and creative ideas by listening or watching out for any new resources from which you can gain new knowledge and concept. So another one is keep your passion. If you want to pursue your passion, you have to find the ways to enjoy it simply by learning more about it. So that is the advice that I just want to give for them.
As for me, I would say it's never too early to start coding. And from my experience, I would say paper qualification is very important. But experience, as what is expected as a computer science graduate, I would say experience. Experience is the one carries the weight of the paper. And as for what I would have done differently, nothing. I had a pretty good start.
So for my advice for computer science students was knowing your goals and interests in the field, and try to start practicing your skills in the software industry, and you will soon realize that the effort you put into it definitely worth it, because you will be more easily to understand faster than other people. What you will be expecting to learn in computer science, I think, is about theory and problem solving skills.
So, from what I've heard from all of the panelists, they gave really insightful comments into what they have learned from experience, the importance of experience, and the importance of having interest in what you're doing. Also, time management skills seems to be something that has been reoccurring from the beginning of this talk to the end. They've also shared how coding has changed our lives from monetary benefits, such as getting jobs and getting gigs, and even learning critical thinking skills that have deeply impacted them as a person. For me personally, how I can relate to all of this is that throughout my experience as a coder and a programmer myself, it has been really beneficial for me. And there has been many challenges, whether it's entering competitions or losing competitions. I think a part of the whole coding and programming, it might seem flashy, but there are chances that you will lose and you won't always entirely win. And that's a part of puzzle of life. I think it's really important that we remember that as long as you're learning something, like what one of the panelists, Felicia, said, as long as you're learning something, that's already a win. So I think that's a bittersweet ending to the end of this panel. So there you have it, everyone. We've heard so many insightful and interesting stories from our special guests. I'm sure that such stories have truly inspired many of our viewers. You can follow our guests on their social media accounts down in the description below if you have any questions that you would like to ask them personally. So thank you so much to our guests for taking the time and sharing such valuable knowledge with me and our viewers. You can follow Future Skills for our Instagram account at Guru Future Skills and on TikTok at Guru Future Skills to get more information on coding and programming and also the upcoming episode of Get Inspired Today. As I've mentioned earlier today, two lucky winners will win a microbit quick start kit, each that's up to worth to 100 ringgit. Just fill in the Google form in the description below and we will announce the two lucky winners on our Instagram account at Guru Future Skills on the 26th of September. So make sure you follow our Instagram account to stay tuned to the announcement of the winners. So that's it. That's it for me tonight. And I would like to thank Aris Academy for hosting this show and also our honorable guests for coming and sharing valuable knowledge with us today. Stay tuned for the next Get Inspired Today episode. Till then, bye bye.